AFT President Randi Weingarten, back with another weekly update, this time the week before our 250th anniversary of this country. This week, though, I want to start by highlighting some big victories our members have secured by fighting for dignity, opportunity, and a better future. After a years-long fight, almost a decade, maybe more, our members in Puerto Rico scored a huge victory to win back what teachers earned through what Puerto Rico calls the Teacher Career Program. This program was designed to compensate teachers for additional professional development and education, but the government used the fiscal crisis to stop paying teachers what they were owed. Now, more than 90 million in Puerto Rican funds have been allocated to address long overdue payments for more than close to 6,000 educators, more than 5,850 educators on the island. Congratulations, AMPR, for all the work that you have done for all these years to get that funding back to our members. Now, faculty at the Community College of Baltimore County ratified their first contract this week, securing higher pay, stronger job protections, and improved leave benefits after negotiating with the college for this entire year. This contract is a breakthrough for faculty who for months fought to attain real voice, real job security, real dignity at work. Thanks to the advocacy, this is another one of the University Professors of Illinois, Local 4100, several faculty, librarians, and university professionals at Western Illinois University who were laid off last year got their jobs back now and got back pay after an arbitrator found that the layoffs violated the collective bargaining agreement. We also saw victories in New York with teachers and staff at Neil Hellman School winning a first contract, and educators at Breakthrough Montessori Public Charter School in D.C. also reached a tentative agreement. These efforts, that's a lot of them in 1 week, remind us that collective action make it possible to achieve far more together than we ever could alone. In fact, this collective action is even more and more and more important as we faced attack after attack in Washington, D.C. What did President Trump do this week? He refused to sign a bipartisan bill that lowered housing costs and helped people with housing. And why did he refuse to do it? Because he wants the Congress to erode voting rights. He also seems to show zero interest in helping working people get by, yet at the same exact time, there are so many senators, particularly Democratic senators, who are calling for for laws that change people's lives, like the living wage law that or bill that Senator Murphy and his colleagues introduced this week. Let's see if we can get to $25 an hour as a minimum wage instead of 7 and change, which is the federal minimum wage right now. And frankly, as we approach the 250th anniversary of our nation, we have to do everything we can to create real pathways to achieving the American dream for all people. This means and includes what we need to do in terms of immigrants and non-immigrants alike. But seems like the Supreme Court doesn't agree with us. This week, they actually pulled back from helping people who have come to this country because of persecution. The majority of the Supreme Court bowed to Donald Trump's demands to end temporary protective status, protections for thousands of workers from Haiti and Syria who live and work legally in the United States. Immigrants with temporary protective status pour billions into the economy each year. They pay their taxes. They fill essential jobs across industries, including healthcare and agriculture and manufacturing. And as of this week, they have lost their rights to be here, and they could be deported at any moment. We have to fight for the dignity of workers that have been born in America, families born in America, and families who have come here because of persecution elsewhere. This week, we have also continued the fight against President Trump's private school voucher scheme. NEA President Becky Pringle and I, together, sent a letter to all the Democratic governors urging them to reject this program, which we believe is a Trojan horse for near universal private school vouchers. And even in states where voters have already said no, why should there be vouchers? Public dollars belong in public schools, plain and simple. And I was glad to see lawmakers in Rhode Island and Vermont take action to block their governors from opting into this voucher scheme without any kind of legislative approval. These are wins. What happened in Rhode Island, what happened in Vermont, for educators, and most particularly for students and families, and for anyone who wants to make sure that we have equal opportunity for all children. I also used my New York Times column last Sunday to lift up AFT's Devices Down, Eyes Up, Hands-On Learning Strategy, which we announced last month. 10 points to boost student learning and success by taking on this tech earthquake, and by prioritizing active learning, and by deprioritizing screens, particularly in the early grades. I have heard from parents and teachers and other educators across the country expressing their appreciation for this 10-point plan. I've heard from people who want to use it in contract negotiations. I've already seen it influencing a whole bunch of policy. I was really grateful to see the LA Unified School District officially adopt new guidelines limiting screen time for students. And bottom line is this: any of the things I've just talked about today, when we fight, when we care, when we show up, we are doing the things we need to do to make life better for Americans. That's what we've done in these collective bargaining contracts. That is why we're fighting the kind of abuses that we saw with the Supreme Court this week. That is why we're fighting for a working class tax cut and for a living minimum wage. That is why we're fighting for a better balance between tech and non-tech, and AI and non-AI in schools. That's why we're fighting for affordable higher ed. We are fighting for the better life that our members, that our kids, that our families, that Americans here on this soon-to-be 250th anniversary deserve. Thank you. Have a great weekend. And for those who are celebrating Pride, happy Pride.